In this video, will you see how units are used to define physical quantities. So, we'll use units. And when I mean physical quantities, I mean quantities that physically exist. And the three main things we're going to use to build a model of physics is length, time, and mass. So length, time, and mass are concepts of physical quantities that can no longer be broken down in any way. They're fundamental. And we will build all of mechanics with these three. So all the way to Newton's laws, energy, momentum, you name it. And then later on, in the last unit, we'll add one more to talk about electromagnetic phenomena. So with these fundamental quantities come with some internationally accepted units. The first one for length is the meter, and we'll use the meter in this course by far most. And there's a couple of other examples like feet, in which is used here in the United States, and also inches. Very good. So let's assume we have some physical amount of length. So let's say that I have some ruler or something right here. And I know that this ruler here is 1 meter. Now this ruler is a physical object, and its length is a physical thing that exists. You can touch it, right? So 1 meter. Now, you have probably seen what people like to call unit conversions. What this means is that if you would like to represent the same length, the same physical length, you'd have to pick an appropriate number to pair it with the unit of feet. And that number is about 3.3. As in, there's about 3.3 feet in 1 meter. And if you do the same for inches, that comes about to 39.4. So when I go back to this physical piece here, this meter stick, if you say, I could say that that is a physical length of 1 meter, or I could say that this is a physical length of 3.3 feet. And it would represent the same object. Okay? So let's finish off this table real quick and just give you the SI units for the accepted units for all three of these quantities. So for time, everyone knows what 1 second is. Now, 1 second, there is 60 seconds in 1 minute, and that's another common one. There is 1/60th of a minute, and it's about 1/3600 of an hour. And these three, I'm sure everyone is familiar with. Now for mass, the accepted is 1 kilogram. And the most popular one, aside from the kilogram, is the one unit used in the United States, which comes down to 2.2 pounds. Okay. So meter, second, and kilogram is the what we call the SI unit. It is or metric units. These are the units we will use in this course. So I'll show you a couple tricks here on how to go from one to the other. So if you pick any of these columns, so let's say you pick the length column, whatever physical length you you are representing in any of units can be exchanged and represented in any other unit. What I mean is that any length represented in meters can be represented in feet and inches and et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with time and same thing with mass. What you may not do is you may never express a length in a unit of time and vice versa, or mass. So there's no conversions here left and right. Okay, so get rid of that. And how would you go about doing one of these conversions? So you see that 1 meter here is a physical length, and you can also describe this physical length as 3.3 feet. Now this means that you can write this in equation form. 1 meter equals to 3.3 feet. Now this is an equation, do you see? So whenever you have anything like this, you can divide both sides by anything you like. You can multiply both sides by anything you like. You will not change this equality. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 1 meter. And you're going to get, so let me just start writing on a single color here. I'm gonna, something that you can see easier. Let me move this up here a little bit. All right, so what you get when you divide here is you get 1 meter divided by 1 meter. Now, it does not matter what this is. The top and the bottom is the same, so you're always going to get just a 1. And here you have 3.3 feet divided by 1 meter. And what I want to pull your attention to is that if you write 3.3 feet divided by 1 meter, that's just a 1. And you can multiply any variable by 1, and that variable will not change. So if I could give you the variable x, and I can multiply by 1, and what you get on the right side is x, right? You should all know this from algebra. What I'm going to tell you is that you can take any physical length here, multiply by a 1, and that physical length will not change. What will change is how you express the physical length. So let's say you now have 3 meters. 3 meters. Okay? And you want to express this in feet. You want to express 3 meters in feet. 3 meters is a physical length here, right? It's a thing that exists. You do not want to change the length of this object that physically exists, but you want to not describe this in meter. You want to describe this in feet. So the first thing you do is you 3 meters and you multiply by a 1. When you multiply this by a 1, you are not changing the physical length of your object. Now, you can rewrite this 3 meters. There's a very useful kind of 1 that you can turn this into. Do you see 1 here is 3.3 feet divided by 1 meter? I'm just going to write that out. 3.3 feet divided by 1 meter. And what I want to show is that what I've done is I've taken this 1 right here and I substituted right there. Then it showed up right there. Okay? So now comes the easy part, in which you have a unit of meter here and a unit of meter there. Meter divided by meter is just a 1, it goes away. So what you end up with is 3 times 3.3. And that means that if you take 3.3 and you multiply it by 3, you get this physical length right here in feet. You will get, so you will get this physical length right here in feet. So what happens here is that this is going to be 9.9 feet, which means that this physical length can be separated into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, okay, something like that. So I need a lot more divisions here if I would have to divide this in feet rather than meters. and this comes out to perfectly 9.9 feet. So in the past, if you have had experience with unit conversions, I think the number one question I hear is, do I multiply, do I divide by whatever I have? You will never have to ask yourself this question ever again if you are careful in writing out that 1 meter is 3.3 feet, or you could have had 1 meter equals 39 inches, and then you divide one side by whatever unit you want to get rid of, and then you get the special one, you multiply everything by a 1, and basically the algebra will tell you if you have to multiply or if you have to divide by a conversion factor. All right, have a very good day. I'll talk to you later.